Let's talk about the country, because not just the country, but the countryside, because this is a good story. The latest chapter of the wokest saga. Wildlife charities are now claiming that the beautiful pastures of our countryside are racist. Of course they are. Racist, white and colonial. Can you imagine going to parties with these people? God help us. Now, they're all back. Spiked Online's chief editor, Tom Slater, the author and broadcaster, Laura Dodsworth, and Esther Krakue is here as well. The countryside's racist, Esther. Don't go there. Whatever you do, you might find yourself getting the subject, the target of abuse.
This specific story always comes up in the news cycle at least once a year.
Yeah.
But I find, jokes aside, it does make me sad, and it makes me question where we're going as a country, because Britain is still a Northern European country. I suspect I would know what people from Northern Europe look like. Yeah. I would never go to Korea and be like, oh my gosh, all these people so Asian looking. How dare they? Right. Or like Nigeria, oh my gosh, Nigeria's full of black people. This is just unacceptable. Right. But for some reason, you can do that here in the UK and have it published in national newspapers, and people just bend over and think it's acceptable. Yeah. I find it very, very strange.
Yeah. But also, if you were worried and you were really concerned about the fact that there's not enough ethnic minorities visiting the countryside, it's quite an obvious reason for that, is ethnic minorities tend to live in cities. Yeah. But at the same time, if you're really worried, you're worried they're being put off, would you want to go around claiming it's the most racist place you could ever go? You don't want to go near those horrible people. Right. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. No. But the
how do they know it's racist anyway?
I mean, I have to say, this story didn't make me sad. It made me laugh my head off. It's the most ludicrous, absurd load of codswallop you've ever heard, the idea that the countryside is racist. Yeah. I think there are some people that just, you know, they'd kind of run out of places to attack. You know, we've done all the institutions, we've done schools, we've done the media.
History.
I know, let's do the countryside. Yeah. We need to introduce diversity targets in the countryside. What's going to happen? Are we not going to be allowed in a national park if it's already got too many white people in it?
Yeah,
and the turnstiles only going to be open to ethnic minorities? It's absolutely bonkers. But it's also incredibly racist to even say the countryside is racist, because it implies that ethnic minority people are too timid to go into an environment where there might be more white faces. I mean, I find it just really patronising.
We need to hear from that guy at Radio 5 Live, don't we? The one who goes into Radio 5 Live every day and feels intimidated. He doesn't see anybody like him.
He did comment on this story.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he has. So what he said is that a lot of social media trolls give the impression that the countryside is racist, which is just his impression of the trolls. He must think they're white people from the countryside.
Of course.
But he did also say that this is one of the most tolerant countries on the planet, and he's never experienced racism in the countryside himself, because, of course, who has? You know, I go into the countryside and I've never really seen any racism happening in the countryside.
The thing is, these people paint ethnic minorities as simple-minded adults, basically, because for some reason we have to have someone that looks exactly like us to accurately represent our views. Or if we're in an environment where people don't look exactly like us, but they are walking on two legs and have two arms, and they're clearly human beings, that's still intimidating to us. And I find it very strange, because I think to myself, have you actually been to like white majority places? Right. Because many African cities are incredibly cosmopolitan. I grew up around Indians and Turkish people and Lebanese. I'm like, have you actually travelled outside of this country? Because I don't think the reality is going to match up to what they expect.
You don't actually need to travel outside this country. I just said Bermondsey is one of those places. You could try Deptford, just down the road from here.
Talking about London, there is a grotesque double standard at play here. You know, Tower Hamlets is literally smothered in Palestine flags.
You'll never see a Union Jack there, but you'll see plenty of Palestinian flags.
Confetti of Palestinian flags has been dropped on Tower Hamlets. So how are the Jewish people in Tower Hamlets supposed to feel? Yeah. Where is the outrage about Jewish people not feeling welcome in parts of London that hostage posters get ripped down in or are smothered in the Palestinian flags? I mean, that's actually a real issue where people are experiencing racism.
No, they can't talk about that. You have to talk about the countryside being racist. I used to be frightened of the countryside because I grew up in London. I went to Bath University, lived in Bath, never had anything to do with the countryside. Went to live in New York, you know, travelled around quite a lot. But eventually came back to Britain and was married at the time, and we had young kids. We moved to Wiltshire, and I was horrified because I'd literally I'd never lived anywhere like that. You know, and I remember getting home there.
Was it too white for you?
Well, it wasn't so much that; it was very dark actually. Yeah. You know, there were no lights at all anywhere. You know, and you would hear these kind of screaming animals in the night. I would literally. I mean, we got.
It sounds awful.
The day we moved in, right? No, the day we moved into the house, right?
Beautiful.
We couldn't get. It had this ancient sort of, you know, it wasn't a posh Aga. It was like a sort of ancient anthracite fired up boiler thing.
Not
right?
one of your South London armies,
And I couldn't just
darling.
switch. No, I couldn't light it. So we was frozen. There was a problem with the electricity. We ordered pizza. It was freezing cold. We had to light a fire. Kids were like screaming, tiny, you know. And I thought, this is a nightmare, absolute nightmare. And I tried to go to sleep. Woke up in the morning. There was no noise, nothing at all. You know, I used to live on 36th Street, right by the Midtown Tunnel in Manhattan.
I feel like it traumatised you.
And I just didn't fancy it at all. And I just hated it. I hated the country.
I think the ethnic minority Brits who don't go to the countryside very much got a good idea. Like, it's a terrifying place.
Why should
Why
should we hear goats
and
when
I
we're trying to
thought-
sleep?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to hear sirens,
Yeah.
and I want to hear...
You want to hear sirens, you want to hear people, you know,
drunk,
talking.
brawls, that
You want to
kind
hear
of
cars,
I don't know. I'm kind
motorcycles.
of suspicious of very quiet. I don't know if it's me. I'm just suspicious of like areas that are too quiet and nothing's going on. I always like keep a cricket bat behind my door.
And also,
I need
that was the other
something
thing.
buzzing.
This little village that we lived in, everybody knew everybody else's business. And I'm not keen on that at all, really. You know.
Why? What
And
was
like,
your business? Was your business?
Well, it wasn't particularly bad. It was just that everybody knew what everybody else was doing. You'd meet somebody in the pub and you go, oh, yeah, I hear you had the bricklayers round. You build a wall. And you go, sorry?
Yeah.
What's it to do with you? You know. Oh, I saw you were talking to Adrian down the road the other day and he's coming to do something. I'm going, what?
It's a scary place, Mike.
Yeah, it's too familiar.
The country is scary. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not racist, but it is scary.
OK, I'm here for the countryside. Don't worry, countryside
Oh my
dwellers,
gosh.
Countryside Alliance. I've got your back. The countryside is bliss, absolute bliss.
Yes.
Everyone should go. Everybody, ethnic minorities, everybody. Visit the countryside.
Trouble is,
It's
you
not
can't get
racist,
there by
it's lovely.
train because they're all on strike or the rain's stopping them.